You ever feel like you're not just watching a game, but witnessing a turning point in history? That's exactly what this moment feels like for Cleveland. This isn't just about a depth chart change or a coach swapping one player for another. No, this is about power, identity, and survival. It's about a city that's been beaten down for decades, suddenly finding a reason to stand tall again. And at the center of it all is one young man, Sanders. His rise isn't just a football storyline, it's a cultural earthquake. And I'll be honest with you, what we're seeing right now doesn't feel like business as usual. It feels like destiny colliding with desperation. And before I dive all the way in, let me tell you this. I've got something special lined up for my viewers. I'm giving away an official jersey to one of you, completely free. All you've got to do is drop a comment below and make sure you're subscribed. That's it. I'll be pulling a winner from the comments and subscribers right before the first regular season kickoff. So if you've ever thought about joining this community, now's the time. Hit that subscribe button, leave your take in the comments, and you might just be repping a brand new jersey when the season begins. According to insiders, the breaking point came when Kevin Stefanski, the man who had resisted every call, every headline, every chant from the stands, finally surrendered. After weeks of fighting the tide, he walked into that press room with a carefully typed statement in hand. His lips said the words, but his body told the truth. Shoulders slumped, voice flat, eyes hollow. He wasn't announcing a decision, he was admitting defeat. Sanders, he said, gives Cleveland its best opportunity moving forward. And in that moment, you could almost hear the city exhale. But don't mistake this for Stefanski's idea. Ownership forced the issue. Sources say Jimmy Haslam laid it out in brutal clarity. Start Sanders or face immediate consequences. That's not strategy, that's survival. And the second that news broke, the entire organization shifted. Coordinators stayed up into the night redrawing game plans, sculpting plays around Sanders' arm talent and his mobility. Veterans who'd been drifting through camp suddenly locked in. Receivers buzzed with excitement. Even defenders admitted the truth. They finally had clarity. One safety, caught off guard, muttered, "At last, we're moving forward instead of sideways." That's not just a soundbite. That's a pulse being restored to a locker room on life support. And for the fans, vindication. After the humiliation in Philadelphia, after empty seats and plunging ratings, this was the apology they'd been waiting for. Not in words, but in action. Of course, when one man rises, others fall. Joe Flacco's future now dangled by a thread. He's been graceful in front of cameras, but behind the curtain, he's devastated. The Super Bowl MVP reduced to a safety net. His agents already sniffing out escape routes, and Dillon Gabriel, he's seething. Once viewed as a promising project, he's now been leapfrogged. Whispers are already spreading. Is this really about performance, or is it about marketability? About jersey sales and headlines? Because let's not kid ourselves, Sanders has the resume to justify it. His preseason play wasn't just good, it was electric. Completion percentage high, poise under pressure, explosive drives that lit up the field. You could see it in the trenches, the offensive line digging deeper to protect him, running lanes opening wider, receivers running with fire in their routes. But beyond the white lines, the impact was staggering. Ticket prices soared overnight, jerseys vanished off shelves, bars and restaurants started preparing like it was playoff weekend, and the networks, they tore up their schedules and rewrote Saturday's broadcast as though it were primetime in January. The Los Angeles Rams aren't blind to it either. They've spent days cooking up exotic defensive looks, blitz packages designed to humble the new face of Cleveland. They want to test him, break him, embarrass him. Every snap he takes will be dissected, magnified, overanalyzed. But that's exactly where Sanders thrives. He's lived under a spotlight his whole life, the son of Don Sanders, raised with pressure not as a burden but as oxygen. While others wilt, he inhales it. This isn't about one game, it's about Cleveland's very identity. For decades, the Browns have been haunted by indecision, trapped in cycles of dysfunction. But this is different. They're planting their flag on a quarterback who represents youth, hope, and belief. Players are rallying behind him. Fans are dreaming again. Ownership is staking the franchise's future on him. And the ripple effect is massive. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, they all just felt the shockwave. The AFC North isn't the same anymore. Even before Sanders takes his first official snap, he's changed the conversation. He's forced the other powers in the division to take notice. For the first time in years, Cleveland isn't just participating in the AFC North, they're shaping it. Inside the building, Sanders' health has become sacred. Extra protocols, emergency rehearsals, equipment double-checked and triple-checked. Every precaution taken, because one awkward hit could shatter the momentum. Meanwhile, Gabriel simmers, his frustration boiling into trade rumors. Do the Browns keep an unhappy player or admit they drafted wrong? And then there's Flacco, who, despite the personal disappointment, has stepped into the mentor role, teaching through sacrifice. The younger players see it, and they're learning what professionalism really looks like. Behind the scenes, philosophies are clashing. Van Pelt wants to unleash Sanders. Stefanski wants to hold him back. Ownership? They don't care about patience. They care about the show, the spectacle, the money. That's why Sanders' debut has become an event bigger than football. Reporters stalk his every move, what he eats, how many throws he takes in practice, even which car he drives into the facility. The hype machine is no longer controllable, and the Sanders effect, it's everywhere. Tickets reselling at playoff prices, jersey orders breaking records, local businesses rolling out Sanders-themed menus and events, bars organizing watch parties for a preseason game. Think about that. A preseason game treated like a national holiday. Even the old legends of the franchise are chiming in, some offering hope, others warning of caution. But Sanders, he doesn't flinch. You turn on the film and you see it, manipulating safeties with his eyes, reading coverages like a seasoned vet, staying calm when the pocket collapses. The analytics back it up, rare efficiency, instincts beyond his years. Off the field, the organization is surrounding him with everything. Nutritionists, trainers, mental health support. They're not just building a player, they're building a franchise cornerstone. Saturday night against the Rams carries a weight far beyond the scoreboard. Even the weather seems to understand. Forecasts call for thunderstorms, as if the skies themselves want to dramatize his first stage. Whether he dazzles or stumbles, one truth remains. Cleveland has already changed. Paralysis has been replaced by movement, cynicism by hope. For the first time in years, this city unites around possibility. Because Sanders isn't just a quarterback, he's a catalyst. The spark that's transforming dysfunction into belief, doubt into fire. Sometimes in sports, fortune doesn't favor the safe choice, it favors the bold. And Cleveland finally found the courage to be bold. Now the question is simple. Will Sanders carry them into a renaissance, or will this gamble collapse under the weight of its own ambition? One way or another, we're about to find out. You ever sit down to watch what's supposed to be a meaningless preseason game, and halfway through you realize you're not just watching football, you're watching history start to bend? That's what Saturday night felt like. A preseason matchup, the kind most people brush off, suddenly became a national event. And it wasn't just about the scoreboard, it was about every single detail. I'm talking about the little things most folks usually ignore. The inactive list, analyzed like it was a secret government document. The coin toss, framed as if it held the fate of the entire season. Even halftime adjustments, debated by analysts like philosophers discussing the meaning of life. And through it all, every single decision Kevin Stefanski made wasn't just a coaching call. It was interpreted as a declaration. Was he bold? Was he timid? Was he telling us he believes in Sanders? Or was he hedging his bets? That's how heavy the moment was. On the field, you could feel the tension in the air. Veterans, guys who normally jog through preseason reps, suddenly couldn't afford to coast anymore. They knew the kid on the field was changing the energy of the locker room. And the rookies? Man, the rookies treated every snap like a golden ticket. A chance to prove they belonged next to Sanders. A chance to carve out a future by aligning themselves with the most electric storyline in the NFL right now. And outside the stadium, forget about it. This wasn't a casual August night in Cleveland. This was a playoff atmosphere months too early. Tailgates roared like the city had already clinched a division title. Music blasting, fans screaming, flags waving. People acted like it was the AFC Championship, not a preseason game. That's the Sanders effect. But what really blew me away was how far the ripple traveled. It didn't stop at the stadium, it reached Vegas. The betting markets went wild. Futures climbed overnight. Prop bets multiplied like wildfire. Sanders wasn't just a quarterback anymore. He was shaping the financial pulse of the sport. Then came the endorsements. Shoe companies, apparel brands, tech giants, you name it, they all started circling, desperate to attach themselves to his name. Merchandise sales spiked, ticket renewals surged, even international markets, Europe, Asia, started paying attention. Think about that for a second. The Cleveland Browns, a team with decades of heartbreak, suddenly on the verge of becoming a global brand because of one player. And trust me, the impact wasn't just hype. You could see it on the field, plain as day. Defenses respected his arm so much it reshaped the offense. Running lanes opened up like floodgates. Receivers fought tooth and nail to build chemistry, knowing one connection with Sanders could rewrite their careers. The offensive line, they treated his protection like it was life or death. And the defense, guys like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, played freer, looser, because they could finally trust the offense to give them leads. Even the special teams unit tightened up, like they knew every single kick, every single return had to be flawless, because this wasn't just football anymore, it was history in motion. But here's the part that sends chills down my spine. Cleveland's history. The quarterback graveyard. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Dozens of once promising names buried in that soil. Talent swallowed by dysfunction, hope crushed by bad infrastructure, impatience and mistakes. And now Sanders is walking into that haunted ground, trying to be different. But here's the reality, no matter how good he is, there are no guarantees. None. This city has seen too much heartbreak. Still, this time it feels different. For once, the optimism is louder than the doubt. And inside the quarterback room, oh, that's its own drama. Joe Flacco, the grizzled veteran, mentoring with grace, steady, patient. Gabriel pulling back, withdrawing into himself as the spotlight shifts away. And Sanders, he's threading the needle, navigating the politics, earning respect not with words, but with performance. That fragile harmony in the QB room, it mirrors the storm outside. Because Cleveland isn't just hosting football right now, it's hosting a cultural phenomenon. Hotels sold out, rental cars gone, restaurants overflowing, national media swarming like locusts, and social media, forget about it. Hashtags trending, TikToks going viral, memes multiplying like wildfire. Everyone wants a piece of Sanders, fans, brands, networks, advertisers. For corporations, he's the dream package. Young, magnetic, marketable. But it's brutally simple. Saturday decides everything. One brilliant showing and the world is his. One flop and the hype collapses. And the fans, they know it. They feel it. Former legends of the team are rallying, voicing their support. Alumni showing up to back the kid. Watch parties happening worldwide. People selling furniture, skipping rent payments, just to buy a ticket for this game. That's the level of desperation, the hunger for hope that's been festering in Cleveland for decades. Behind the scenes, the preparation is obsessive. Coaches staying up until 3 a.m. debating schemes. Equipment staff polishing helmets until they shine under the lights. Security teams running citywide drills. Every single department consumed by Sanders. Even the Rams, his opponents, are calculating how much they should reveal, how hard they should play, because even they know this preseason game is no ordinary preseason game. And the best part? Sanders isn't just about talent, he's about intelligence. The coaches rave about his memory, his processing speed, his ability to absorb complex schemes instantly. Teammates feed off it, pushing harder, knowing his rise might drag them into the spotlight too. And for Stefanski, this isn't just about developing a rookie. His own reputation, his future, his career, it's tied directly to what Sanders becomes. That's the weight of this moment. Cleveland's history is a warning. Years of dysfunction, failure, disappointment. But somehow, Sanders has already flipped the script. He's boosted the economy, he's reignited the fan base, he's turned the Browns into the epicenter of the sports world. And here's the crazy part, he hasn't even thrown a regular season pass yet. Saturday against the Rams isn't preseason anymore, it's destiny. Sanders is QB1, the countdown is over. The city is on edge, the franchise is united, and the world is watching. And here's what it all comes down to. Glory or disaster. Validation or humiliation. Everything or nothing. Cleveland's future begins right now with Sanders under center. And before we wrap this up, let me say this. If you've been feeling the electricity of this story, if you believe like I do that we're witnessing something bigger than just football, then ride this journey with me. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next chapter, drop a like if you're rooting for Sanders to change history, and leave a comment with your take, because I want to hear from you. Do you believe this is finally Cleveland's moment? Let's talk about it.